Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be trying some new products. Some of these are new, some of these aren't new, but they're new to me. So we got like the Candid Glow Foundation, the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. We got the e.l.f. Luminous, that's not a word, Luminous Primer Putty, Mascara, Highlighter. So this is the outcome. There was some surprises. Not too thrilled with a lot of things, but if you're interested to know how I came up with this look and my thoughts on the products, then let's get into it. To start out, I have two primers here. I have the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer, which I was finally able to get my hands on, and then this new Revlon Prime Plus Perfecting and Smoothing Primer. It's also makeup and skincare primer, so I thought that was pretty interesting. There were, I think, 2 or 3 other types of this. Let me show you the bottle here. That's kind of what it looks like. There was a couple different ones that had a couple different, like I think there was like a correcting one, a brightening one, like a mattifying, poreless one, but I opted for the perfecting and smoothing. And then everybody knows about the Primer Putty from e.l.f. They had an original one, which I actually did enjoy using. A friend of mine used it and really liked it, so I let her have it. And then I just never got around to repurchasing it. So I went to Target trying to find all this new e.l.f. stuff, and I was able to find the concealer and the primer, so yay me. But does it have a smell to it? That's great. It has this like yellow tint to it, so, and it's really nice and like smooth. It was a little bit more balmy when I feel like the original was a little bit more thick, and this is definitely a lot thinner. Just something I'm noticing right off the bat. I think I'm going to go in with this much here, and I guess, I don't know, I don't really want to put it where my pores are the most enlarged, so I think I'm going to work it down here and put that Revlon primer more where I want like that smoothing, so like right in here. So I'm going to focus this more here and out, just in case it does have a super like luminosity to it. I don't want my pores to be enhanced, but going on it feels nice and smooth. I'm not having to like tug. It doesn't feel super like silicone-y or anything. Definitely doesn't have a smell, which I appreciate. Alright, moved it a little bit closer so hopefully you can kind of see a little bit better. Grab a mirror here. It definitely has some glow to it, that's for sure. Down here where I applied it, it doesn't really look like it covered much of my pores. On the forehead, definitely has a little bit of a shine to it, nothing like crazy or greasy looking. So far I'm not mad at the way it's looking. Next I'm going to be going into the Revlon one. I can get a cap, has a pump like that. So just gonna put some on the back of my finger. Oh, definitely not the consistency I thought it was gonna be. It's definitely thick. Can't really tell if there's I think there might be a slight scent to it, but nothing too crazy. So I'm gonna put it here and see. It's definitely got a weird consistency. It's not something I've felt before. So far so good. I really liked how that Revlon primer looks over my pores, and I definitely like that luminosity that the putty primer gave. So I'm interested to see how well the foundation sits on top, because I think that's like the true test. And for that I have the new Revlon Candid Glow Foundation. I know a lot of people like the first one that they came out with and the concealer. I've not tried it either. Just because I feel like Revlon shades run kind of odd. Like, either they're not dark enough or light enough, or maybe the undertone's a little off. So I kind of have a hard time finding my best shade. So I'm hoping that that 110 will work for me. It's 110 of porcelain. Don't know, it could be a little light, but we'll see. Oh, I'm supposed to shake it up maybe? There it goes. So it definitely has more of a thicker consistency, not super runny. I think the shade should work. It will either be a little light or a little dark. We'll see. Can always balance it out with either concealer or bronzer. And I think I'm just going to go in with my sponge here. So I just got that on my sponge here. Might be a little yellow for me, but we'll see. Alright, right off the bat, I can definitely tell with the sponge, it's like a high-low coverage. It's not, I wouldn't say this is medium. If it is, it's very low medium. Definitely not full coverage, though I don't think it claims to be full coverage. A moisturizer, oh, glow, okay. So I guess it's supposed to be more of a light coverage foundation maybe? You might have more coverage with a brush, but I just personally don't like using a brush unless I know how the foundation performs, and since I don't know how this performs, I'm just going to go in with a sponge. So far that really hasn't covered much of my face with that bit I had on the back of my hand, but sponges do absorb a lot of product. I'm gonna kind of drag it down. I feel like it's not super noticeable that the undertone might be slightly off, but I think for the most part I could definitely get away with wearing it out, and I don't think anyone would notice, especially since the coverage is on the lighter side. It's a little bit easier to get away with foundations that aren't quite right. So I did about 1.5 pumps more. I'll focus this on the sides here. Take that leftover, go over my nose. I feel like my nose is the good test of whether it's going to work for me or not. And so far it seems to be sitting decently well on my nose. It's definitely not the best, but I also did put some of that primer on my nose, so that could also be why I'm pretty finicky with what primers it'll take. So kind of keep an eye on that. Doesn't seem to really be sticking to the side here. Kind of kicking up a little bit. Again, it could be due to that primer. Could just be my nose. Alright, and I'm just going to take what little bit I have left and go on my forehead. Usually when I have my bangs down, I don't use a whole lot of coverage, but I do get a little bit of redness like in this area, so I like to have a little bit of coverage there just to kind of not make it look like only half my face has foundation. So far my forehead looks alright. There's a little patch right here that it's clinging to, and again, I don't know if that's the foundation or the primer or my skin or all of it. That's the bad thing about doing first impressions, but I will continue to test these products out. Next up is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. If you've seen some of my past videos, you know that the regular camo concealer just is not something I like at all, and I don't use it. So hopefully I'll like this a little bit better. That one was just a little bit too matte and drying for me, so I'm glad they came out with a hydrating one. And I got light peach. I will say in Target they didn't have fair shades, they just had light and maybe a couple mediums, but that was it. So I don't really know the full range. So I'm just going to apply some anyways. Just not a whole lot. Maybe I'll do a little bit of color correcting. I don't think I would say this is full coverage. I would probably classify this as medium, just because I can still see a little bit peeking through. But once that's blended out, I just can't really tell that's too dark. I definitely don't like the way it's settling in my under eye creases. But so far I like it a lot better than their original camo concealer. So I'm going to apply a little bit more to some areas. I want a little bit more coverage. Alright, so far I'm kind of on the fence. Definitely like it more than the regular. It definitely gave me more coverage than the foundation, so that was nice. Where I put it, you can definitely tell that there is some luminosity to the concealer, which I'm not mad at. I have dry skin, especially in the wintertime, so I love that. I just don't really like how it's sitting in my under eye creases. That's the only thing I'm not really liking so far. I'm going to go in with a little bit of powder. I'm going to take my Tati sponge, which by the way, I have been loving this for powder. So I'm just going to take my Revlon Candid powder, my all-time favorite, and just lightly set my under eyes. Okay, so something weird just happened with this concealer. I'm going to zoom you in to kind of show you. Hopefully you can see this. If not, I'll hopefully take a picture or something. But it has completely like separated and like clinged on to either the concealer or the foundation, kind of weird on this side. But on this side it looks fine. So I don't know if it's pulling on camera or if my lighting is offsetting it, but I don't really like the way it kind of like cling to it. It almost looks like I have a little bit more texture down here when I don't normally do, I don't believe. So I'm not a big fan of how it's sitting right there. And I mean, I use this powder all the time with just about every concealer and I never have a problem with that. So either it's just not gonna work with the powder, or it's the primer that it's sitting on, or I don't know. That again, that's the thing about first impressions. You never know what is gonna get along with what. But so far, not really liking the way it's sitting under here, but under here it's fine. So this isn't new, but it's the Revolution Pro Skin Finish Luminous. So I'm going to give this a go. I've been wanting to try this for a while now. I know there's a couple different shades in Ulta, and I picked up what looked like it was going to be like the lighter peachier shade. So it's just a simple powder. I'm hoping my lights aren't washing everything out. But I really wanted to give this a go to kind of see how it's going to work on my dry skin. I usually don't set my whole face, but I'm going to give it a go with this. So I'm just going to take my It Cosmetics powder brush. I've used this so much that the lettering's rubbed off. But this is really good for distributing out powder without heavily packing it on. So I'm just going to set the rest of my face. Alright, so there was a little bit of kick up in the pan, which doesn't really bother me. I will say that it doesn't look like it clinged to anything or made it like cakey looking. I will note that the foundation is starting to really settle in some lines here next to my mouth that I didn't even know I had. So it's already creasing right there. So not a big fan of that. So I just realized I forgot I had a cream blush. Should I risk it? Why not? let's go in with this Flower Beauty Blush Balm in Cinnamon. I've been wanting to get my hands on these forever, and one of the Ultas I went to that's kind of far away from me had just this last one in stock. Not really a color I would typically go for, but I feel like it might kind of match what's going on with my shirt. So let's give this a go. Some creams do fine sitting on powder and some don't. So we'll see if this one does. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand, just a little bit. I'm going to tap it out on the back of my hand, because I don't want to go in with a lot. So like that, and just pat where I want to place my blush. I'm just going to take my sponge and kind of go over that. Okay, so it does a little bit of something. It's pretty subtle. So I don't know if that's because I'm just going in super light-handed, or if it's just the color. It's just not something I'm used to using. Or if it's just picking up and my redness is coming through. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't feel like that did anything. I mean, I can kind of see a slight difference, but nothing too crazy. I'll have to try it again when I don't set my face with powder, so I can kind of really go in and look. But, you know, I can't really see to tell you how I feel about it. Alright, next up, I want to use this Wonder Beauty Trip for Two Blush and Bronzer Duo again. I got this in my BoxyCharm, and I did use it in that video. I did like it when I used it, but I just wanted to continue to use it to kind of get an idea if it's something I am going to enjoy or not. So let's give this a second go. So it's definitely clinging to where I put that blush down. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about, but it's definitely clinging. So I guess you'd want to set that blush with either a translucent powder or with another blush on top, or just use a cream bronzer, because it looks like it will cling to whatever powder you put on top, and it doesn't want to really blend out, which is not like the product's not performing. It's just something that happens, you know, cream, powder, separation, you know. I'm just going to go in with the blush that's in the bronzer duo and hope that we can kind of cover up whatever weirdness we have going on. So I just put some powder to like clean up. I went down too far and a little too far over. Yeah, I still really like this duo. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of use out of it, especially in the summertime. So for highlighter, we have the Revolution Skin Lights Prismatic Highlighter. I think, yeah, I got it in 201 Daybreak Glimmer. There was this one and I believe another shade, and it was a darker shade. Not sure if it just has two or if there's more. But I picked it up in hopes that it will be light enough to use on my pale skin. I like the pattern. It's really pretty. Feels pretty smooth when I swatch it. I definitely think it is going to work for me, which is great because it definitely has more of that like gold shift to it, and I find that sometimes having that gold shift can be too dark for me. So fingers crossed that this works. So I'm just going to take this highlighter brush. I will say there is some kick up, but not like crazy. So, let's see. Oh yeah, it works and it is gorgeous. Okay, I really like that. Hopefully you can see. It definitely has that gold shift to it, but it's not so gold that it doesn't work for my skin tone, which I love. That's not another icy, like white highlighter, just because I'm not a big fan of those. But I love this color. And it's nice and smooth. It's not chunky. It doesn't have glitter in it. It's not really enhancing my texture. I mean, it's a highlighter. It will emphasize some, but definitely not one that does it a whole lot like some of the other ones that I own. Alright, so I went ahead and did my eyeshadow like crease and outer corner just because I have like a pigment I'm going to go in with. And then I did my liner on my waterline and tight line. But this isn't new or anything, but it's new to me, and it was on clearance for $3.58, and it's the Makeup Geek Full Pigment in Firefly. So I wanted to give this a go because I've never tried it before. So let's hope it's not a complete mess. So I just went in with my single shadows of Makeup Geek just to get some use out of them. So I used a Peach Smoothie, Pink Brulee, Tan Lines, and So Pale by Makeup Geek. So pretty much this first section here is what I used. So I don't really want to tilt it too far, but it does have like a nice like reddish bronzy type tint to it. Oh boy, and I just spilt it everywhere. That's great. Love that. Hopefully you can sort of see there. Trying to like really build it up so you guys can see it, but this gold right here, it's like a bronzy gold. It's really pretty. So I'm going to use this. I didn't cut my crease or anything. I just did a simple eye primer. So I think I'm going to wet my brush, and then apply it that way because I just don't really feel like carving out my crease or anything like that, although it will probably help adhere it better. So this will probably get all over my face. Alright, so I'm just going to take this Morphe M167. It's just a flat paddle brush, and I'm going to dip into the cap here. And I'm going to spray it with some Morphe setting spray. You can use any setting spray, but that's just what's next to me. And let's hope there's nothing that's going to fall out on my face. Wow, that is a really pretty color. I really like that color. I think it really complements like the color in my shirt, on my shirt, in my shirt. Yeah, I really like that color. So for mascara, I picked up this Maybelline, the Falsies Lash Lift. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about this, and I think it just recently came out not that long ago. So I'm gonna give it a go. It's supposed to dramatically length, volume, and lift. It has a double curved lifting brush, so we'll see. And I got it in a blackest black. So it has kind of like an hourglass doe foot. It's not as big as like say like the Too Faced one. So let's give it a go and see. Alright, so that is what one coat looks like. Hopefully, you know, you can see it there. It definitely gave it volume, or like length. It's not clumped together. They're nicely spread out. I really do like it. But you never know how it's going to go with a second coat. So let's apply a second coat and see how it builds on itself. Alright, so that is with a second coat. I really like the way this made my eyelashes look. I put it on the bottom too. They don't look spidery. They don't look clumped. It's not a super wet nor super dry. It's like the perfect in between. So I'm interested to see how this will kind of dry itself out, and see if maybe it gets crumbly. So far I've only got like one little flake right there. Other than that, it hasn't flaked everywhere. It hasn't transferred anywhere. So we'll have to see how it does throughout the day, see if it flakes or smudges or anything like that. So yeah, I really like that. Alright, well I got you this close. I'm just going to go ahead and do my lips on camera and then finish this eye off camera. So for lips, I have two Wet n Wild products. I have a high shine like lip gloss type thing, and then a matte. And so I don't think these are like new formulas or anything like. I mean, they might be new formulas. I know the packaging is different. I think it's super cute. It kind of reminds me of Pat McGrath with like the lips there. So I thought that was really cute. And I like how they had different color bullets for the finishes. So that way, if you know you buy these in bulk or whatever, you'll kind of get an idea of what you're going to be reaching for, whether it's a matte or a high shine. And I like that the tops are clear so you can see what color you're grabbing for. And the bottom does have the colors that correlate. So that way you can kind of put them in how you know you would like. But I really like the packaging. I do like in the old packaging the formula, so hopefully it hasn't changed. I got the shade Bare It All, which is the shade that I got in the old packaging, so I don't know if they were reformulated and they kept the same names or if they just changed the packaging. But either way, I really liked it. So I absolutely love this color. It's like a perfect nude for me. And I don't feel like I need a lip liner with like matte ones because they tend to last a little bit longer. But this formula, even though it is matte, is super comfortable. It still has like that glidiness to it without I feel like I'm tugging. It doesn't like emphasize like the cracks or the lines or anything like that like some matte lipsticks do. I absolutely love this matte formula. If you're not a big matte lipstick fan, you might actually enjoy these because again, it's that formula that doesn't really dry your lips out and it lasts a little bit longer. So I really like that. It's super pretty. And then the high shine one I have in a Peach Please. So definitely, like I said, is on the peachier side, which has a glossy finish like so. It's kind of like gloss in a lipstick form is how I kind of describe it. So just gonna put some here in the middle. Oh, now that feels really good. It's not sticky. It's not like patchy. It's not picking up anything. It sort of lightened it in the middle, but not too much. Yep, I really like those. So definitely win in my book if this is the kind of stuff you like and not like liquid lipsticks. These are definitely affordable and amazing quality. So I do recommend these if you haven't tried them. I'm pretty sure it's still the same formula, just different packaging. So we are in my bathroom. Hopefully the lighting's a little bit better than where I was filming because of like my ring light and stuff. Just so you can kind of get a closer idea of like what my skin is looking like and how the products are setting or sitting on my skin. So if I get kind of close, hopefully you can kind of see like around like my nose area, it's just kind of like sitting a little heavy. Plus this like line here, hopefully you can see it, it's just kind of settling where I don't really want it to. And then like my under eye definitely has a little bit more creasing than I would like, and it's kind of settling in there as far as like the concealer is concerned. So far not like feeling like they're going to be like holy grails, but I am going to continue to like reach for them and see how they do with like my normal everyday products. But yeah, this is what my skin is looking like at the moment. Alright you guys, so this is the final look. Definitely had some standout products, some I'm not sure about products, so let's just go over that real quick. Starting with the primers, I really liked the smoothing that it had over my pores, and I like the luminosity that this gave. So I'm definitely going to try this again with my regular foundations just to kind of see how they go with that. Just because I'm not sure if the foundation is affected by these or what, but so far I really like using these. So I highly recommend that. I found this at Target and I found this at Walmart, so just in case you're wanting to try to pick some of these up. The foundation, I'm going to have to give it a go with my normal primers and see how I like it so far. I'm not a huge fan of it. Just the way it's sitting, it's starting to just really get in some fine lines I didn't even know I had. The coverage is fine. I'm not like a huge like full coverage fan, and I'm not a fan of like super light coverage, but I mean I was able to get a decent amount of coverage. The color seems to work for me. I'm curious about the longevity of it. I'm going to be wearing this stuff all day. It is kind of later in the day, but I'll let you know down below how things wore. If I can remember, I'll take a picture and hopefully insert it in here. But I'm definitely going to have to try this again with my normal powders or primers and routine and stuff like that to kind of give it a fair shot. But right now, I'm not super impressed with it. The Revolution Pro Skin Finish, I really liked the way it made my skin just really nice and glowy without caking it and looking like tons of powder. Really enjoyed this. Definitely going to get some use out of this. Concealer, I'm on the fence about. I'll have to see if there's lighter colors because I think this might be just a little bit too dark for what I like. The coverage wasn't like super full, at least not in my opinion. I don't think it was super full. I think it's way better than their camo concealer, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to give this a couple more goes and see, but right now I'm not like blown away with it. The blush, I'm gonna have to obviously try again and not powder my face. It's the only thing about cream products, liquid products, I always forget that I'm going to use them and then I go in with powder. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try it under powder or under foundation and over foundation to kind of get an idea of the pigment, because I don't feel like it was super pigmented, but I did go in really lightly not to disturb that powder. So I'm going to try this again and let you guys know. The highlighter, love the highlighter. I love the consistency of it. It's not super powdery. It has a little bit of kick up. It has no glitter. It doesn't really enhance my texture. And I love that it is a gold without being too dark, and it's not icy. So this is definitely a win in my book, and I'm going to be reaching for this a ton. The pigment, while it's not new, I still really liked it. I love the color, so I can definitely see this being something that I reach for a lot. The mascara, I really liked the way this made my eyelashes look. It gave me the length, it gave me the volume without it looking clumpy and not spidery. So if this doesn't flake throughout the day or smudge, I think this might be a new drugstore favorite right here. The Wonder Beauty blush or bronzer duo thing here. Really, really like this. I love the colors. Even though it's a little bit too dark, you can definitely go in light-handed and build it up if you need to. Yeah, I really like this. This is my second time trying it, and I will definitely be reaching for this a lot more. And then finally, the lipsticks. I already know I love this formula. I really think it's a nice, affordable drugstore option. I'm not a big fan of bullet lipsticks, but I do love this formula. Especially the matte, without it being so matte and drying. I think a lot of people will like it, if even them not being big fans of matte, just because it doesn't suck the moisture. It doesn't emphasize. I love it. First time trying their High Shine lipstick, and like their High Shine liquid catsuit things. I love it. I think it feels really nice. It's not sticky, and yeah, I can definitely see myself reaching for both of these a ton. Alright, so I believe that is everything. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe and follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to post more. Fingers crossed that I can do that this year. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in my next video. Bye.